Y'all.
Hey everybody.
Hey, and we're live. Finally.
We're on Facebook.
Finally, yes. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram.
Let me see what it looking like.
Yes.
Okay, let me turn the volume down.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, we're
late, but we're here.
We're late. Charlotte traffic. I was rushing. I'll take ownership of this one. I will. I'll take ownership of this one. Yeah, for sure. We about to get it cracking.
Alrighty.
Good topic. How's everybody doing today? I'm going through 3 different cameras here. How's everybody doing?
It's confusing.
Checking in with you, Jack. How you doing? Let's rate ourselves.
I'm doing better than I was yesterday, so I'm just glad about that. I was not feeling well yesterday. I feel like I came down with, I don't know, the makings of a cold, and you know, when you get that, the first day is just a scratchy throat, and then you anticipate there's more. So I've just been taking medicine, both over-the-counter medicine and natural stuff, just trying to make myself feel better, and I feel much better. I feel like 85% better than I felt yesterday. So I'm happy about that, to be doing better today than I was yesterday.
You said you got that apple cider vinegar.
Look.
This is my apple cider vinegar, you guys.
And we don't know what that really is, and we cannot say. But what we can say is this is orange juice, apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, ginger, and shavings of ginger and
shavings.
Yeah, apple cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar. What did I say? Chili powder. Is that what? Cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper.
Ginger.
Right.
And orange juice.
Okay.
And I've been drinking this like nobody's business.
Get you some elderberry from Walmart. I
have elderberry. I'm just not using it because I can't use all the holistic stuff at once because I'm also using Theraflu. So I'm so serious. I have things to do.
If Jackie get that sleepy eye, you already know what it is. It's Theraflu.
I took 4 doses of Theraflu yesterday along with a whole jug of orange juice. Mm-hmm. So I've just been trying to drug it out.
Okay.
And drown it. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to drown the cold. I don't have time for this. I got things to do.
Just make sure
I got things to do.
Staying clean. You know, don't reinfect yourself. Make sure you change your sheets. All that stuff.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, definitely do that. People forget to change their sheets after you done sweat all that out. You know, sweating it out. Sweat it out.
I just made it. You know I don't need much encouragement.
Yeah, hey, we about to get it cracking. What's up, bro? Got my bro on the line. Got Moan.
Oh, okay. Where?
Over here
on
there
IG. You go on Instagram.
Our IG family, Facebook family. We're here in the building as we do each and every week. Welcome to the couch where your mental health matters. I'm your host, Damion. I got my girl Jackie on the side of me. So we're going to sit here and talk a little bit. And today, like no other, or like every other week, we're going to have an interesting topic today. And it's something that's hitting kind of home for me because I'm still going through the grieving process myself.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's real. But we're talking about grief, vicarious trauma. And the topic, it was pretty interesting. Jackie said, name it, get over it.
Yeah. And
it was being, I guess, cynical a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because often people tell you, to get over it, or depending on how long you've been grieving, whether it's been 6 months or 6 weeks, they tell you, you should get over it after a certain period of time.
In one way or another, they do tell you that. Yeah. And it definitely feels like that when someone's encouraging you to feel some other way than you feel.
Right.
About something. Mm-hmm. It's been 6 months, let it go. It's been a year, you're not over that yet. You need to move on. That means get over it.
Right.
I'm so tired of the move on conversation. I was going to say.
You can say it. You can say it.
You fucking move on.
What's up, family? Got my sis on here. Got my homeboy Shenard in the building.
Hey, everybody.
Shout out to QC Bulls. Did an awesome job down in Orlando a couple of weeks ago. National championship. So that was pretty dope. Keep doing your thing out there for sure. But again, like I said, Couch 704. We're here in the building. IG Live on Jackie Kerr. We're on her live. We're on Dame Dash live.
And Facebook Live.
Facebook Live on the couch.
We everywhere.
Yeah, make sure y'all like and sharing this on all platforms. You know, we're definitely going to give out some valuable information today on, you know, on grief, how to recognize it, stages, how to deal with children that have suffered from grief.
And how to talk to your kids about grief.
Yeah, how to talk to your kids, because we don't know how to talk to our kids sometimes because we don't understand grief ourselves.
We don't fully process our grief correctly.
Yes.
And fully.
Yes.
And want to deal with our grief. So then we can't help our kids deal with theirs, and they model our dysfunctional behavior and how to process or not process through these things, and we're just left with a mess. Actually, we are. Because you come to see us.
Yes.
As adults who were children once, and were living with parents who didn't properly process and talk about grief.
Yes, absolutely. So, as always, we have our mental health trending topic, and it just so happens that our mental health trending topic this week coincides with our topic. So, it's a trending topic, but it's also our weekly topic as well.
Wouldn't the trending topic, in respect to what our normal twist on things, be maybe the response in social media to what has transpired with Kobe Bryant and everything? And as far as that goes, I want to talk about the venture for the logo to be changed for the NBA, because I think I want to talk about that now in our opinions. Okay. About the logo being changed, I saw a lot of petitions for the NBA logo to be changed to Kobe Bryant's silhouette. And I have opinions about that, but I would like to know your opinion about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like that would be a grand gesture, but I also think it would complicate future generations as far as future players, future Hall of Famers, future people that have left their imprint on the game of basketball. I often say it should have been Michael Jordan. He should be the logo. He's the standard, not necessarily Jerry West. It was Jerry West at that particular time. But I think Michael Jordan and his influence overall on the game, as far as from a international standpoint, he's done more, in the sport than, anyone that I can think of. So if they're going to change the logo, they need to change it to Michael Jordan and not make it a rash decision based off of the tragedy that happened with Kobe Bryant to make him the logo. Okay. If that makes sense. Okay, go ahead. What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I wholeheartedly agree.
Okay.
When I saw that, I thought to myself, I just shook my head. Every time I saw one of those petitions, I just shook my head and thought to myself, look at everybody making emotional moves here. Like emotional, it's not quite rational. I don't think it is. Right. He died and it's tragic. And we honor him by doing that, but what if somebody else tragically dies who is an icon in the next 2 years? God forbid, and I don't want to speak it on anyone, so I'm not going to give a name of anyone, but there are many icons living for the NBA. And I say many, I do mean at least 5 that come to mind for me. Right. Old school icons who are living, known very well in the Black community for doing good things in the Black community. Right. And if something were to happen to them, should we change it again? Exactly. Or then you deal with the aftermath of if you're not doing enough to honor them. I just think it's so rash and unnecessary and emotionally driven. I also thought years ago, not necessarily the NBA logo, but the NBA should be honoring Michael Jordan in a different way. He just has brought a different light to basketball, and upon him leaving it, a lot of people actually lost interest in even watching basketball. Yeah. So we're not talking about that. I also want to talk about the fact that associated with grief, everybody, not everybody, but many people are very quick to jump on the grief bandwagon in efforts to draw more attention to themselves. I mean, let's talk about it, because he was great before he died in the helicopter. He was great in many ways, right? He added a lot to in many ways, but why is there this grandiose greatness in death? And, let's talk about that. All these, and I'm seeing all these memes of, give me my flowers while I'm still alive. Like, shut your ass up. What you doing? I mean, I just think it's about, misery loves company, Damion. So let's be clear that there is a bandwagon to jump on. And Whitney Houston was a crackhead that the black community made fun of until she died the way she died. I'm not saying she's a crackhead, but she was very crack-ish.
Crack-ish. Okay.
So everybody liked to make jokes about it until she died, and then it was like, nippy. And
right.
I mean, it was this big tragic happening.
Right.
Sad, but you see what I'm saying? The way I look at it, I don't want to take anything away from the tragic nature of the way Kobe Bryant died, but there are fathers driving their kids to school and picking them up daily, and mothers getting into car accidents and dying. And is it because we don't know them on that level? Right. But people you do know, like your parent passing away, that is that level to you.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, you know what I'm saying? Does this make sense, what I'm saying? There are people that lose people every day. So to me, I just look at death differently. This is a process. You're only guaranteed life and death. So it's the way he died. Oh, so tragic. Yeah, sad. You know, and then there's kids and other people.
Would it have been differently if he died of old age?
I thought about that too.
You know what I mean? Like,
I thought about that. I don't think it'd be that much different for people. I don't think.
I think it would. It'll be different because as you age, I mean, you're getting closer to death.
You mean they expect it?
Yeah, it's almost expected. So,
I mean, it's the shock.
I think the shock value of how it happened, the implications with it being with his daughter. So a lot of parents are visualizing being in that particular situation and having your child with you. How did that feel? How would you feel in having that transference of that particular feeling come upon you? And it kind of, I guess, reminds you, or you may have been reminded of maybe a previous trauma that you've experienced or prior grief that you've experienced in the past that may have influenced that a little bit more, that shock or that feeling of grief.
Well, that's natural. And so I made a post the other day about a lot of what we experience and how we react to current grief and present grief situations or situations that pull from grief are a direct reflection of things we've been through. So when my grief involving Kobe Bryant's crash, it's sad that people pass. So period, point blank, it's sad that people died. I want to say people died because we also don't want to teach our children they passed. Like, we want to use real words for what it really is. They died, okay? And that is incredibly sad. However, my issues with that came from nearly losing my own kid. Okay? I have nearly lost my own kid. So my immediate thought was, good Lord, I was having trauma revisited.
Absolutely.
What do you feel and say when you know it might be the end? And I have been there. So I don't need people to, speculate for me or say, what if? Like, I have seen it. And so I have visited my child in the ICU for 4 weeks and him not breathing on his own. And so I had to come to grips with my frame of mind and how it was going to be. But I had time also, right? And so what I can't get my mind away from is in the instant that this is incredibly wrong, as most of us feel on airplanes when we feel the first hit of turbulence. Your mind goes to a different place.
Exactly.
What if? And that bothers me, but that's my reliving my trauma.
So that's pretty much our trending topic, but we're definitely going to dive a little bit more into what is grief. We kind of know what that is, and we've had a previous episode in which we discussed. I said discuss. You did. Discuss grief as far as the stages of grief.
You're always coming up with new words.
I don't even know where that came from. I don't even know where that came from, but you know what I'm talking about. But as far as the stages of denial, and I'm pretty sure everybody experienced this at some point in time in their life, especially when we did hear, Sunday that Kobe did die. We went through social media, we went to ESPN, we went to CNN to see if it was actually true. So we went through that brief period of denial. Like, nah, this can't be. Like, we just saw him Saturday night dapping it up with LeBron, and then now he's gone, potentially, or allegedly. So we go through different things, different cycles, different processes to kind of, I guess, maybe substantiate what that claim is. So we went through that. We've gone through the anger, we went through the bargaining, and that's part of that denial part. You're bargaining like, well, maybe like TMZ, they be lying sometimes. So I don't know if it's all the way true. You know what I'm saying? Let me wait until CNN, or ESPN broadcasts it at the bottom of the screen to actually feel something. But personally for me, I've been through the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression, and because I guess because I didn't know him personally, but I felt like I kind of grew up with him because we were relatively the same age. So I seen him as a teenager coming into the NBA. He went to the prom with Brandy. Like, that's the person that I've seen over the last 20 plus years. And he died at 41. So he's
1 year older than you.
Yeah. So he's been on the scene since I was like 16, 17.
I remember when he married that girl. I remember his parents were pissed. They didn't go to his wedding.
Yeah.
I remember that, and everybody thought it was because he didn't have a prenup, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think he married her without a prenup, and his parents were fuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember that specifically. Isn't that sad? More than anything else in his career, I remember it being in the news because he was this new NBA star, and he was so young. I think he was like 20. Was it 21?
He was 17, 18 when he came into
Okay, because I know, but she was 18 when he married her, and he was 22.
Okay,
I think. Yeah.
I mean, that makes about. But I also remember his transgressions when he kind of had the little thing. Was it in Colorado?
I remember that transgression too. I remember the interview. The wife was holding his hand like this.
I'm just guilty. I'm not guilty.
I'm just saying. I remember it, and she was like,
"Look, I'm not guilty of anything but just adultery."
It was consensual.
It was consensual sex.
That's what I remember. We have to laugh at some things. That's what I remember.
Yeah,
I remember exactly how she was looking and how close to him she was sitting. But yeah, I mean, it's sad, and I think the abruptness, and then the children,
right?
Really hits parents, some kind
absolutely.
of way, and everybody as a human being, there's one thing, but when you have children, that's another. But you know what? This adds to our topic, right? Since we're just flowing with this.
Yeah, we're flowing with it. Let's go.
What we're trying to draw attention to is you don't tell people how to grieve, who to grieve, how much time to grieve,
right?
When they should be over grieving and all of that. And I'm going to use this as an example. When we talk about the fact that I have been through a grieving process with my own child, I thought about when this Kobe Bryant thing happened, all the people that told me I need to move on with certain things, or I'm too connected to my kid, or I'm too attached to my kid, or I'm hovering over him.
Right.
God forbid somebody has to nearly watch their child die.
Yeah.
And they make it. And then you try to go through day to day for years with the trauma of knowing that as soon as you step out the room, something could happen, ill-fated to your child, and you see how you deal with it. Now, I don't wish that upon anyone, but I hope that this talk makes people look at how other people grieve differently and then treat them differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Just dealing with the child when they've gotten gravely ill, they've had to be in the hospital, surgeries, anything like that. That's an automatic thought, like the worst. Although we want to pray and we want to maintain positivity and be optimistic that everything's going to be great, and that's what we project onto our child. But in the back of our mind, we're thinking this could be the last time I see my child alive. They can go under on anesthesia and not come back. That type of thing.
You know how many times my kid has been under anesthesia? This little kid, you know what I'm saying? Karan's had so many surgeries.
He's a soldier, man.
He's had more than 7 surgeries, 8 surgeries.
Wow.
He's been under anesthesia and cut more than 7 times.
Wow.
So if you can imagine, when you say that, I have repeatedly been through this over and over again. So I don't know, I feel really strong about this topic. And we want to make sure we're saying, we're not just talking about death, right?
Yeah.
Because you can grieve.
That was really hard.
You can grieve a relationship, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? You need time sometimes.
You go through that same process. It's a death of a relationship. It's a death of an idea of a fantasy that you had that's no longer going to happen.
You know, when women say, when the man starts to shift his behavior, there's a death. Because we had a certain expectation. You think you know someone. And a lot of times somebody's behavior shifts so severely. And you just kind of look back and say, wait a minute, but I thought this.
Right.
And something's taken from you. Like a rug pulled from under you. And you grieve the fantasy, yes, of what you thought it was.
Right.
And then you get handed your reality, your current reality.
Damn, you get smacked in the face.
Who are you? There's a stranger in my house.
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can grieve anything that you lose.
So bouncing back to kind of like, I guess maybe like influential people, celebrities, and how we recognize whether we're going through that grief process or not, and the discussion whether you're actually going through grief because you don't know this person personally. And like I said previously, I grew up, pretty much with Kobe from, teenager till 40 plus years old. So I feel connected.
Like you were on the block, back on the block with Kobe.
But we've experienced all those moments, and he lived his life on television, so everyone saw it. So those feelings are really commensurate with, family members or distant relatives that you know of.
A familiar face.
Yeah, that you haven't really communicated
that you don't talk to.
That you don't talk to, but they died.
Kobe was our family member that we didn't talk to much at all, actually. We never spoke to.
Right.
But yeah.
So, I mean, it's not only Kobe, you're talking about Tupac, you're talking about Biggie, you're talking about Martin Luther King, you're talking about, JFK, all of these people, Bob Marley, all of these people, if you were connected to them in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and you were around when they were alive and at their height of their career and they died all of a sudden, you kind of feel that pain.
I'm going to be honest. I think of two people when I think of this same type of reaction, not three.
Okay.
I think of Michael Jackson and Aaliyah.
Prince too. Prince for me, that's my
favorite this
artist.
Is who I think of.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, Michael Jackson is the single most important artist in my life, all my life. So that's why I think of him number one.
Right.
And I didn't feel the same way about Aaliyah. I only think that way about her because I was at an all-girls college when she died. And it hit all the girls hard because we were around the same age again.
Right.
And she was just statuesque and like classy, but she revealed a little, but she was classy. Yeah, but she was nearly the roundaway girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was the Rockaware chick. She, had that little vibe to her. People wanted to emulate her. And so it was sad. It was sad on campus and everywhere we went. I remember it was a party and they announced in the middle of the party that she crashed. And the DJ stopped playing and everybody was just like, it was just morbid. It was really morbid, but you're talking about college age kids when she was in her very early 20s. So I saw that with that, and then with Michael Jackson, it more like hit home with me because I was the one that had like posters on my wall. I was the only girl. Shout out to Bennett College. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Michael Jackson jacket with
okay,
all the zippers.
But I didn't have that. No. But I had wall hangings, cloth wall hangings. Okay, the off the wall poster was cloth,
right,
and it was hanging behind my bed. Now off the wall, because that was from the 80s, so his skin hadn't, the Jerry curl was...
It was still
cute.
dripping?
He was still skinny, kind of half black looking. He still looked half black. And so, at least, and, he wasn't out of control yet, facially.
Okay.
Facial dysmorphia hadn't completely taken place, but he was looking good at the off the wall cover. And I had that on my low wall. The girls who were in my dorm freshman year know I was crazy. Damn, I had dolls. I got one upstairs. I should have brought it down here.
You should have had it right here front center.
Yeah, but I felt that way. I did feel that way.
And I think more so as far as with especially artists, we're grieving the fact that one, they got this catalog of entertainment, whether it's songs or what have you, but you're grieving the fact that they're not going to be able to make any more music. Unless they're Tupac. Tupac's still coming out with music.
So when you think about that in terms of Kobe, what are they grieving? The fact that he won't be able to, everybody keeps saying, but his life just got started. So do you think let me say this in an articulate way. Do you believe that it's the emotional connectedness that people have to the idea that he spent more time around his family at that time? All this, honestly, the girl dag hashtagging, I'm like, are people using this to cope? And I think they are. It's like a coping mechanism. Right. I'm a girl dad, and I'm thinking, how long have girl dads been in existence?
As long as Dad's been around.
Well, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to, it's too early, but I'll wait a few weeks till I post the son mom. I'm just saying, like, I just am like, I'm a son mom. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I looked at it as people using that to cope.
Absolutely. I think
the girl dads are coming out the woodwork.
Out the woodworks.
And we don't know how much time they actually spend with their kids. And I guess it doesn't matter. It's just the thing now. You understand what I mean about using tragedy to draw attention to yourself?
Mm-hmm. Post a little
what
picture.
Could it really be for?
Girl dad. That type thing.
I got my own opinion about that.
But, hey. To
each his own.
To each his own. Right. And I think, like, one of the issues that has been kind of brought up, and I think I kind of mentioned it previously, is that people often tell you, and we said this initially, people tell you how to grieve, who you should grieve, and how you should grieve that person. And it's a thing of your individual connection and your idea of that person that draws the emotional aspect out of it. Whatever your thoughts are, I can have one feeling about Aaliyah and you can have one, and yours could be valid. And I think someone says that it's invalidating, you know, when someone tells you to get over it. It's been 6 months, it's been 6 years, it's been however long since your favorite person passed away. Get over it, you know. And
okay.
Yeah.
So that leads us into one of the ways that people show grief, right? And we want to put emphasis on the fact that children specifically, right, and adults secondary, but I want to say my emphasis on children, that they go in and out.
Right.
So children can be sobbing and devastated 1 minute, and then 3 hours later excited about the next thing that's happening in their life, right? And then 2 days later, wait, can we talk about what happened to such? Now, what happened to such and such? And they want to revisit it, and then they start going through the motions again, and then they can snap back out of it. So it can go back and forth. And the reason I want to put emphasis on that is because I've had friends that have had kids, right, that have lost important people in their family. And when I ask the friend, how's the kid doing? Their immediate reaction is usually, she's all right. Or he's all right. No, they're good. They're good. And so I always wonder, what does that really mean? What really makes them think the kid is just good? Is it because the kid's in a good mood for the last 3 or 4 days?
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they're not grieving actively. So let's be clear.
And I think, especially with that, just to add on to that, a lot of kids will have that immediate response just like anyone else would. However, their grieving process, just because their appearance and their mannerisms appear that they've gotten to this level of acceptance, they more often than not have a delayed response. Or their response is not congruent with how an adult would grieve. So a child may start acting out a little bit more, or their grades may plummet a little bit during that time. So it may not be just boo-hoo crying. They may become a little bit more snappier. They may, if it's a teen or something like that,
snappier.
Yeah, they may start smoking weed or something like that. You know, just different changes that they may
Let's talk about changes, because you said changes.
Yeah.
So let's put it in a metaphor for parents, okay? If you want to describe the grief process to your kids, right? If you feel like your kids need to discuss the emotional up and down, or you don't want to wait till they experience that, right? You want to really have an open discussion about death and how to deal with your emotions. Describe it as surfing a wave and the fact that you got to just move with the waves, right? Because emotions and emotional reactions and responses to grief is much like surfing the ocean. I mean, it goes up and then it's smooth, and then it goes up and then it's smooth, and then it gets rocky. So it's constantly moving, but that is a good metaphor to use with kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. It's pretty dope. Like that one. Float.
Ride the wave.
Ride it out.
But don't do all this, you know, I just naturally, it's my Michael Jackson.
So as a parent, as parents, how would you suggest assisting a child that's experienced grief and helping them deal with death and going through that grieving process? I mean, I would say actually have a conversation about death, what it means to them. Because again, each child is different, just like every adult is different. You know, we grieve differently. So for them, if they've experienced like their first loss, maybe a grandmother or something like that, that they were close to, how would you present that as a parent?
Okay, well, my son lost his father's grandmother when he was young. So it was his great grandma, and he went to the funeral with us. Okay. And I was real big on using it as a teaching moment. So the more he talked about grandma, you know, we would just constantly say, grandma died. You know, grandma died, because at, 6 years old, 7 years old, he could not comprehend what death really was. So when we took him to the funeral, and when he's asking questions, we're just explaining, we're all here for grandma. Where is grandma? I mean, we have to remind him then she died. Right. Then we get to the burial. And I remember talking through over and over, we're here for grandma. And then him saying, but where is she? And then we're saying, remember she died? She's going in the ground now. So literally having a conversation about her going into the ground, becoming part of the earth again, and then her spirit going to heaven. Now that's what we believe. So you would put this in the realm of what you believe and what your spiritual, what you believe in. Okay. Right. Spiritual context is. But for our family, it was her spirit went to heaven. And we didn't tell him things like she's everywhere or she can always see you. I didn't get into, I'm sorry. I don't believe these are fantasies. I think those are fantasies. That's my personal opinion. Listen, Dane, they're what we tell ourselves to make ourselves. I can't stand to hear parents do. Well, I'm sorry if we're offending, but we don't care. Listen, this is the reality. Right. Stop making up these fantasies. You need to tell your children the truth. If you Google ways to talk to your children about death, you're not going to find that any therapist encourages you to make up fantasies. Right. You need to tell them that person died, where it's in context with your spirituality and your religious beliefs. Explain it, but let's not make up fantasies. Grandma can see you. She's with you every time you do this. All she's that. Floating above you. Yeah, to me, that's a ghost. And I don't get into Casper and all that. Right. The family deaths. Right. I just want to say, grandma's spirit went to heaven, and my son says, with Jesus, with God. Right. And so now I'm conditioning him. Right. So when someone dies, I try to have that conversation. I know me and his father have that conversation about, no, they died. We don't want to say passing away or they're not here any longer. No. Because then the kids will come back 3 days later and say, when's she coming back? Like, when are they coming back?
When she's coming
back.
If
they left.
She's going to come back in another form. She's going to be in another body.
You'll see her at some point. Y'all hear what I'm saying? No fantasies. Right. No fantasies. Okay, everybody.
No fantasies.
Cut the fantasies.
So what do you think continues to perpetuate grief in a sense and makes it, I guess, maybe elongates or prolongs the grieving process? Do you feel like social media and TV plays a major part in that?
I feel we do it. We make decisions. We drive the content. It's an easy escape for people. Right. Remember when we didn't have social media, would these things be talked about as much? How would we talk about it besides calling someone on the phone? Right. Which most people didn't have the time to do all day. But look what we have at our fingertips. We can pull out our phone and look and tap and scroll very quickly. That easy access, the instant gratification also goes for difficult emotions. Right. And how comforting is that you could read what's happening on a phone while it's happening.
And you guys are doing right now.
Yeah, like y'all are doing right now. But let me say this. I went to an event the day that he passed away. I'm sorry, died.
See?
We got to stop ourselves, though. He died. So the day Kobe Bryant died and all those other people died in the crash, I went to a graduation event. So there were a lot of family members in this event for this person, a lot of people. And I looked around the room, and the table I was sitting at with at least 7 people, everyone was doing this. And I was thinking while I was watching, and I was one of them. I mean, I was doing this reading about what was happening. And I thought to myself, we know what this is bringing. It's bringing depression and sadness and all of that. But we have to know, we have to look now. Right. Why do we have to look right now when we already know he died? We already know we need.
Some people need the the gratification of
connectedness,
being connected, but also being like this breaking news person.
Like you're part of it?
Like I knew it first, and I shared it
Where
with
were you when this happened?
Where were you? I know I saw it at 10:37 a.m., and it didn't really hit the TV until 10:45. So I'm like, I got this particular accomplishment that I was like the first person to kind of let everybody know. Like, with that instant gratification, you want to be the first person to know, the first person to experience it.
You know how it hit me? I'm going to be honest about this. When my grandparents passed, everyone processes grief differently, okay? Mm-hmm. But I had strong opinions about how certain sides of the family process their parents dying, right? Meaning my mother and father, whatever. Mm-hmm. I had real strong feelings. And I had strong feelings about hearing my grandfather's voice on the answering machine more than 5 years after he passed. Mm. I still have strong feelings about that. And that's what that meant to me when I got on Instagram within 24 hours of Kobe Bryant's helicopter crashing and seeing images of him and his daughter everywhere. I thought, how unnecessary. I felt like it was forcing me into a deeper part of the grief process that I really wanted to avoid. Right. So at that point, I totally got off social media to do anything except post business and then get off. Right. I haven't watched the news at all. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here.
But I couldn't handle it, and I still can't. I don't want to see it over and over again. It's not helpful to me. It's either going to help you or hurt you. Mm-hmm. And for me, it is definitely not helpful.
And one of the biggest things that constant exposure, it can definitely be overwhelming, and it may make it hard for you to kind of break those tough emotions, like you were saying. Like,
look, back to the social media stuff you said. You know what? Social media will have you hate people that you like. Social media will have you in a bad mood when you were in a good mood. Yeah. Social media will trick you. Mm-hmm. When I'm in a good mood and I accidentally scroll past 50 Cent's page, the foolishness. I get so. No, he talks so badly about people. I feel my face screwing up. I feel my face going, why you gotta say it like that? I get agitated when I read certain things. And you know what else I notice?
Mm-hmm. What?
Look, y'all women who like to post, there are certain pages that are just for male bashing, in my opinion. Let's talk about that narcissist. What a narcissist will do if you allow. And it's like, there are certain pages that are only talking about how to get away from negative men.
Right. But you're the one
and that will have, that'll have some of these women fooled and trick your brain into thinking you have done nothing to bring on certain situations. Right. Social media is such a band-aid for mental band-aid. Don't get me started.
I think that people that are emotionally unstable
should not have accounts. Look.
They should.
Look.
They should do
already
an evaluation.
Half on the wagon and half off. Delete your account.
Because you will literally drive yourself insane, depressed, over the hump, scrolling.
Yo, we'd be like, did he see my stories? He saw my stories and he didn't answer that text.
Oh, you can see
I know
my
you
stories.
saw my stories.
You left me on red. You saw it.
Left to be left on red. Let me tell you something.
How does that make you feel when you left on red? Let's talk about it.
Well, we know I have anxiety. I'm glad I can't tell when you've read my shit. I can't, because we would be in a whole nother place right now. I don't even know if we'd be functionally in a friendship. I don't like it. I think it's rude. I think it's like, but I see that you know what leaving somebody on red is like?
What?
You see my ass in the grocery store and I know you see me and you keep walking. But you see me. I see that you see me.
Well,
don't ignore me.
You don't want to talk at that particular time. Like, we don't want to acknowledge you.
Wouldn't it be nice? Oh, wait a minute. First of all,
that may be the case.
Let's be clear. If you ever see me in a grocery store and you go the other way and don't say anything, you're dead.
I may not feel like talking.
Hey, I don't feel like talking.
I can say that and keep walking?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I prefer that than silence.
That apple cider vinegar is really kicking.
It's just apple cider vinegar, everybody.
That apple cider vinegar is really kicking right now. I think it's gotten into my clothes.
With cayenne pepper. It probably has. It might as well be bleach. This stuff is disgusting. Yeah,
but you sipping it like it's happy hour.
You know what? I didn't screw my face up drinking it until you brought that to my attention.
I mean, I used to take like shots of it.
You do? I'm not that person. I only drink it when I'm sick.
It helps with like digestion and your immune system and all that. So
I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know a little something.
All right. Let's talk about funerals. Should children be allowed to attend funerals? I want to talk about this.
That's a good question. What do y'all think? Should children, at what age would you expose your child to funeral processions?
Any age.
And activities?
Any age. Therapeutically, it's okay at any age to start talking about the reality of the situation. It's not encouraged that you wait till a certain age. I mean, I would say 5 and above. And then remember, below 5, they can't really fully comprehend what death is anyway.
Right.
So at any age, it's good to be teaching and to develop a real sense of what's going on.
Right.
But I do not believe in shielding children from funerals. It's part of life. At some point, they're going to have to... I'd rather they experience a funeral and you talk them through it rather than this grandiose idea of, well, what could that be when someone dies? Right. What is that like? Right. Well, someone has to die for you to know what that's like. I mean, take them to the funeral. Explain it.
I kicked it. I'm sorry, you guys.
The turbulence.
My first funeral that I can remember was me being a senior in high school.
Oh, I remember mine too. Who passed away?
My grandfather.
Okay.
And I had a game that same day. And I was like, it's a funeral. It's okay. Wouldn't play my game, but I was constantly being reminded of a picture of seeing my grandfather in the casket, dead. So I actually got knocked out that game. I got a concussion, because I was just in the daze.
So you went to the funeral first and then to the game. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got one. My grandma passed away in my teens also, right? And I went to a track meet, then to the funeral. Then I sang at the funeral. With my brother. Me and my brother sang a duet at the funeral.
She sang.
But I was not swayed. We sang Silver and Gold. Silver and gold. Yeah, we sure did. We tore it up. But listen, so I wasn't swayed any kind of way emotionally. And we lived with her for a couple years until she passed. But I didn't feel, she died. Yeah. I've already gone back on what I've educated the people on. All right, see, because I was trained that way when I was growing up. No, they passed away. So it's like the politically correct way. Oh, thank you. So sweet.
She just did a love.
Silver and gold.
She's a shower singer.
Silver and gold. I'd rather have Jesus. Look, don't do it with the Lord's song, okay? Don't do that.
Hey, we about to put out this Couch 714.
Okay, maybe we need a little bit of that. Maybe we need a little, okay? First of all, your Facebook page has been depressing lately. As everybody says. Your feed is depressing.
I don't know if Silver and Gold is going to put me in a good spirit.
It's not about silver and gold. It's the Lord's song, okay? It's not secondary.
Look, why can't we have Stump? That's all Kirk Franklin. Stump. We need some upbeat. I need some tamarines playing, and some drums and some organs. All that.
I don't remember the words to Stump. And my people say. First of all, I was in the high school choir, Kenwood Academy Concert Choir. Shout out to Chicago. Okay, Hyde Park, where Obama's from. Chi-town. So listen, we sang Stomp. We had a director, 100 people in the choir. Right. Everything. We used to tear down the rises. Stomp. We had we had the gestures and everything. Shout out to my people in Chicago in the Kenwood Academy Concert Choir. It was great. I need somebody to help me come and turn my life around.
Did y'all do that as a choir?
Y'all
did all that?
I can't explain it. I can't obtain it.
She's a woman of many talents, Jesus, you guys.
Your love is it's so amazing.
Hey.
It gets me high.
Hey, can we get back to this?
Well, we need a little bit of that. We talk about a lot of grief,
get back to
depression.
This vicarious trauma.
I'm sidetracked. It's 6:10.
Our secondary trauma.
All right. I did that.
Yeah.
For this lovely lady.
What's up, Fire Red?
Thanks for hyping me.
Yeah, that's Fire Red. Shamar is Fire Red.
Sweet.
Yeah, she is. That's
how nice.
Orangeburg in the building.
Okay, that raised my whole Okay, this depression talk. I mean, grief. Grief can lead to depression. Say, where's my head at?
So I mean, what
kids can go to funerals.
Speaking of that, speaking of grief being depressing, how can you change that? What do you do to kind of help yourself kind of get through that grieving process?
Okay, I'll say what I do and then you say what you do.
Okay.
So what I do is I allow myself to feel those feelings, right?
Acceptance.
Yeah, I allow myself to feel those feelings. Right. It doesn't matter how long I feel those feelings. There's no tap out time on me feeling those feelings. I also let somebody know I don't feel good. I keep thinking about this over and over again. Right. I tell some of my Fab Five, right? And it may change depending on who passed away, like somebody's level of understanding and who I reach out to.
Right.
I just let somebody know it makes me feel comforted. Right. Usually, fortunately for me, most of the people I know who are comforting to me are actually licensed therapists. So they're never going to shut down my grieving process. Right. They're always going to give me room. That's right. That's right. It's okay to feel that way. Right. And that needs to be the first thing that you hear. Oh, that's perfectly normal to feel that way. And so feel that way. You have to allow yourself. But I am aware of it. I feel it. And then I channel my energy into something positive and move forward. And I still fall back every now and then and hit the wave that takes me down. Right. But I always get back up. Right. I don't stay down there. So the thing is to plant your tent in the grief. Right. You have to be able to pick up and move. Right.
Don't plant yourself in those negative emotions.
And now I text my therapist.
Is negative. Yeah. Shout out. She gets a plug.
I am drowning in a glass case of emotion.
Who was that?
Ron Burgundy.
Yes.
I'm in a glass case of emotion. Anchorman, not Weatherman.
This milk is hot.
Milk was a bad choice. Baxter. The man kicked Baxter. He took his foot. And he kicked him.
Anchorman, shout out. Like, that's one of the best movies
and he kicked him.
Ever.
He took his foot. Milk was a bad choice.
All right. So I mean,
this is good.
Dealing with grief. Laughter. Number one. Find something funny. Watch a funny movie.
Watch something funny.
Go to a comedy show.
Go out with your funny friends.
Yes, absolutely. Like, that doesn't discount the level of love that you have for that particular person because you want to laugh and you want to enjoy yourself. I guess that's why, I don't know if it's just black folk, but when it's funeral time, we all get together and everybody's drinking, everybody's having a great time. It's a celebration. We're celebrating life, so.
Unless there's a fight. I don't know about your
and cousin
family.
Leroy is fighting again.
I don't know about your family.
Yeah.
Heightened emotions can cause that. So we want to make sure also that you engage in self-care around funeral time.
Yes, absolutely.
And the grieving process.
Yes, absolutely. During funeral time, even after funeral time, anniversaries, special birthdays, special days that commemorate that particular person, whether it's, I don't know, the day that they died, or the day that, Christmas, all those things, holidays. Make sure that you're doing something positive, whether that's a collage, whether you're going to the grave site, putting some flowers down. I don't know if that's a positive.
I don't do any of that stuff. No, that doesn't help me. It makes me feel more depressed.
Every time I go up to Orangeburg, I visit my parents.
I will say that my Uncle Clef, remember the uncle that I was really tight with, kind of like a father, he didn't have any kids. I have his military hat in my closet, so every time I look in the closet, the hat is hanging. Yeah. So I can see it from basically everywhere in the room. Right. And I have one of his sweaters in my closet, and I just like swapping past it. That is comforting to me. Right. And my aunt who passed away this summer was his sister, my dad. These are my dad's siblings, and I was very close to her too. She had no kids, and I have her jewelry box and a lot of her jewelry sitting in my drawer. My father gave it to me when he visited here, and I like just opening the drawer and looking hers and my stuff together. Yeah, that helps. It doesn't always and that's it. Be
a negative thing. It just reminds you that they were here. So pretty much the closer you are to a person or that connection, the more deeper, I guess, your grief is going to be.
The more deep.
I know. I always put ER
I'm just trying on everything.
On everything.
People that care about you are supposed to elevate you.
I mean, it's because I know, but I'm just stressing.
Okay, I'm just letting you know that I know that that's
the
incorrect.
depth of what I'm trying to explain to you. The deep is deeper.
We go deep and we don't get no sleep.
I do go deep though.
Oh, let me switch cups.
That was a word right there. Sipping. That was funny.
That was his mug.
But there's no set guidelines, again, for grief. There's no rules on how you should engage in grief. It varies from person to person. Some people are able to handle it a little bit better than others because they may not have as much trauma.
Did he say, back it up, time to go? You can always tell.
It's
oh
time.
My God.
You already know we about to wrap this thing up. You know we start
talking
saying
crazy.
we start saying some things.
Oh Lord.
We might have to pull a couch 704 after dark. Because some of these things is
Wait, what was the show? What was the thing on BET called in the middle of the night? What was it called? Uncut.
BET Uncut. That was classic. Uncut. I ain't got no. You remember that song? I ain't got no panties on.
No, but
y'all remember that song? I don't got no panties on the dance floor. It was something like that. Yeah, like it was some weird.
About grief and loss.
Well, we lost BET Uncut.
That's because the owner was a new owner. When there was a white owner, right? Didn't the white owner take that out?
Video Soul and Video Vibrations. Midnight Love.
Midnight. I remember Midnight Love.
Do y'all remember those? Like, can we bring
Don't let
back?
me catch you up in the middle of the night watching Uncut or Midnight Love. Something
Uncut
you ain't got no business watching.
As soon as Uncut go off, then Pastor Kearney Thomas come on.
Let God! They put the preacher on. Just one of them things.
You get those prayer cloths. Did you ever order you a prayer cloth?
No.
Or the miracle water?
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Hey, my stomach's hurting. Those were the days.
But this was really a good good talk. I hope it was educational for some people. Let your kids go to the funerals. Be honest with them about death. Right. No more euphemisms or decorative statements about death. No more passing
they're in
away.
The clouds. No
more fantasies.
Yeah, like
in a place called
they're in the ground. Their spirit has left them. We don't know where it went. It could be right beside you. You just never know. But we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know where we go. We got an idea, but nobody knows. Because everybody that do know is on the other side. My bad, Mom. Sorry, Mom. That's what Quran was saying. Sorry, Mom.
Have you heard him say that before? Sorry, Mom.
Oh, my son does it all the time. Yeah. Sorry, Dad. Sorry.
Tom, you ain't sorry. You already prepared that statement. You say it so much. I tell my son, it doesn't work the more you use it. You have to stop saying sorry. You have to start thinking before you do things. Yeah, I'm real sorry, Mom, that I didn't think before I said that. Recent circumstances to get me to jotting down some things in case of untimely death. Yeah. Good job. Let's talk. That is good. Thank you. Recent circumstances, Denise says, got her jotting down things in case of an untimely death. Yes, okay. Absolutely. I advised someone the other day. He does co-parenting. Right. So he's always talking about what he wants to teach his sons. And I advised him to open up an email account just for the sons, right? Mm-hmm. Where they could refer back to things that he wants to say to them. Right. And he said that he would consider start writing those things down. I mean, send yourself an email from that account so that it's just a sent box that they have to check to find out what mommy thought about this or whatever. Right. Mine is my book. Karan likes to read my book. Listen, my son's so spoiled. He'll be like, Mom, he's in 5th grade. He'll be like, Mom, why don't you get that book you wrote about me and read it to me? I said, why don't you get the book I wrote about you and read it to yourself? Right. Mom, I just like when you read it. Right. So he likes to hear about himself. Yeah. He says, well, the book is written in the voice of me and in your voice. Go ahead and read it. Because some parts I wrote as him as a baby. Things he did. Shout out to Karan. Okay, the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, so
but definitely, I mean, she definitely brings on a huge point, especially in our community, Black community. We have to make sure that we're preparing ourselves for death because we're alive. We're going to die, whether it's tragically or by old age, or God is going to come.
I thought we were ending up here.
We're going to die. So just prepare yourself and make sure that your family is taken care of. Get you some life insurance.
Nakers and flies. Nakers and flies.
Nakers and flies.
Nakers and flies.
Nakers. Get you a will. Get you an advanced directive.
We got to do a whole nother show on that.
All those
planning
things.
Ahead, okay?
Man.
And the emotional...
Normalize death.
Emotional, physiological effects people are having, like it's having on y'all. Y'all don't want to do it. You're running from it. It doesn't keep you, listen, it doesn't keep you from dying, though. You're going to die anyway.
I swear, if I see another GoFundMe page, it's going to kill me.
I'm preparing, so I have to say that. I'm preparing. So I got some things in preparation for if something happens. And there are people in my home, my family appointed, and they already know who they are.
Right.
And their names are on documents. So I will say I have
things signed, sealed, and delivered because the two events that bring the worst out of Black people is funerals and weddings. Weddings and funerals. Prepare. It's
really only the wedding when somebody isn't invited.
You was not on the guest list.
Somebody's mom doesn't want you to get married.
You are not sitting right here. This seating chart is standard.
You did wait, and that's because Black people don't RSVP. That's a whole nother show. The emotional and physiological distress that Black people experience when they're asked to RSVP. Why do we take this as this insult, and then show up? Have the nerve.
Hey, people don't know whether they're going to actually make it there or
not. Stop not RSVPing and then showing up.
So what
demanding
if they RSVP and then they don't show up, and then now you're pissed off? So I done saved you this seat and you didn't even show up. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
RSVP is common courtesy. We'll talk about it some other time.
And we're not talking about plus ones.
We'll talk about something else.
Stop adding on your own plus ones.
If the invitation doesn't give you a spot for plus one, do not add plus one.
Don't do it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You are likely not to get invited again.
That's a good segue to our show. Live.
Oh.
No plus ones.
Bring plus 5.
Plus 5. But make sure that they...
But we don't have a date yet.
Yeah, when we bring that, I'm just saying.
We need to talk about what's coming up. It's
what's going on?
6:20. It's past time.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so tomorrow night, Dana being Dana on Facebook Live, I will put something on my page, and I'll put something on the couch page. It is a local television show in Chicago, and we're doing a Facebook Live since I can't be there. So women helping women. Okay. And women uplifting women is the theme for that. I'm going to be on there. The host of Dana Being Dana is somebody who was in my childhood. We had a very rough relationship in childhood, and now we're very good. So we want to, not necessarily, but we didn't like each other. So we want to talk about getting back in contact as adults and things that come with motherhood and uplifting other Black women. So we're going to be talking about that. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, you? That's tomorrow.
I'm just seeing people that need to be helped tomorrow.
That's a lot, too.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Bless you.
But I can't think of anything that's
major coming up right now.
Major coming up, just staying busy. Make sure y'all check out thecouch704.com, all of our social media outlets. Still looking for the podcast on Anchor. It's going to be on Anchor. I already have that set up. So if you're a podcaster, make sure you check out the Couch 704 on Anchor. I'm continuously adding episodes, so when everything is up to date, I'll make sure to let you guys know. But we're definitely out there. Sponsors, if you want to be sponsored, if you want to be mentioned on the show, on the website, on our platform, please get at us at thecouch704.com, couch704@gmail.com as well. You can shoot us an email as well. What else? I think that's it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. We ran through this. We had some fun. We do it how we do it. Even though we talking about grief and death. As Jackie says, she says death.
Is that what I said?
Death.
I don't know. I just need to know we need to call it that instead of transitioning. And Grandma transitioned.
It's a nice way of saying she died. It is what it is. I experienced so much death. It's just
I have too.
It's a lot.
I lost a friend when I was 18. She had lupus. Immediately lost her after a week or two of being diagnosed.
Oh, wow.
She was a cheerleader for University of Michigan. She had just gone to school for the first semester.
Yeah.
And she became ill and passed away by Thanksgiving. And my way of coping with that, her mother gave me a box of her clothes. And I thought it was odd at first. And then when I realized that was her mother's way of coping, she pushed it on me, but I didn't realize at 18 that I was allowing someone to kind of push me into doing something I wasn't ready for. But she told me to take the girls' clothes to college. And I did. And I have one article of that clothing left, and it's in my scrapbook. And I'm glad that her mother gave it to me. I am. She said I was the only friend that could wear her size.
I kept my dad's clothes for a while, like his t-shirts and things like that. Oh, I need the clothes. Instagram. You know, on Instagram. My Instagram is kind of funny sometimes.
Well, it's time anyway. We're waiting.
But
it's time, 6:30.
You guys, we appreciate it. We had a good time. Hopefully, this was some valuable information because somebody's going to die that's close to you. Sorry to say, but it's going to happen. Whether it's, somebody distant, like Kobe, or a friend or a family member. It's going to happen at some point in your life. So, prepare yourself. Preparation is key. Preparation meets, what's the P's? Never mind.
Preparation means what?
No, I don't forgot.
We've done. Said so many profound things this hour. Yeah. We don't need to say anymore.
No, we're done. All right, you guys. We'll check y'all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. All that. All right, we'll holler at y'all, man. Peace out.